Polar bear, the king of the Arctic, aerial view of Arctic ice. Golden sunset over frozen land. At the far northern edge of our world, where snow falls endlessly, one incredible animal survives against all odds. This is the polar bear. You might think it's just another bear, but here, it is the last sentinel of a changing world, anatomy and adaptations. Polar bear walking over ice, close-up of its fur and paws. The polar bear is massive, covered in white fur with black skin underneath, helping it blend into the icy world. Its large, padded feet act like snowshoes, allowing it to move across thin ice without falling through. Life in the ice bear swimming in freezing water, standing at the edge of an ice sheet. Polar bears are powerful swimmers, traveling over 100 kilometers at sea in search of food. But each year, the sea ice they depend on shrinks further, and the journey becomes harder. Hunting mastery bear patiently waiting at breathing hole, sudden strike when a seal appears. The polar bear turns into a silent predator. Using stillness and precision, it strikes in a fraction of a second, securing its vital meal. Motherhood and cubs. A mother bear in a snow den with her tiny cubs in winter. Mother bears dig snow dens to give birth and protect their young. The cubs are blind, small, and fragile, relying entirely on their mother for survival. Melting crisis time-lapse of melting sea ice, bear walking across broken ice. But now, the ice is vanishing, and so is the bear's way of life. With less hunting ground, polar bears are facing starvation and extinction. Hope through action. Scientists tagging bears, community cleanup on Arctic shores. Science, education, and environmental action can help protect the polar bear. When we protect them, we also protect our planet. Closing message. A polar bear standing still in a snowstorm, fading to white. The polar bear, more than a majestic animal, is a symbol, a reminder that everything in nature is connected. Let's protect it for a better tomorrow. The Arctic food web. Footage of seals, fish under the ice, seabirds flying. The polar bear isn't alone. It stands at the top of a vast and fragile food web. From seals to fish, each link depends on the balance of ice, temperature, and timing. If one falls, the whole system trembles. Survival strategies. Polar bear scavenging a whale carcass, flipping over ice for leftovers. As hunting becomes harder, polar bears adapt. Some scavenge coastal remains, others walk for miles on land seeking food. But it's never enough. They are resilient, but even resilience has its limit. Human encounters. Footage of polar bears near Arctic towns. Warning signs. Researchers observing from afar. With melting ice, bears are venturing closer to human settlements. It creates danger for both humans and bears. Coexistence requires respect, distance, and better planning. Climate signals. Animated map showing Arctic ice shrinking over decades. Temperature graphs rising. The story of the polar bear is a warning, a living climate signal. The Arctic is warming nearly 4 times faster than the rest of the planet. What happens here? Ripples across the globe. Conservation in action. NGOs installing monitoring collars. Youth activism. UN climate summits. Conservationists around the world are working tirelessly, tracking, protecting, educating. From policy to protest, People are rising for polar bears. Their fight is our fight too. Indigenous wisdom. Inuit elders speaking / traditional Arctic hunting and respect ceremonies indigenous communities have lived with the polar bear for generations. Their knowledge of the land, weather, and animal behavior is invaluable. They remind us that true conservation begins with listening. A future still possible, polar bear cubs playing. Arctic springtime bloom. Hopeful orchestral music builds the polar bear's story is not over. If we act now, with awareness, unity, and courage, we can ensure a future where the Arctic thrives. For the bears. For us all. The smell of survival bear sniffing the ground. Slow zoom on its nose. With a sense of smell 2,000 times stronger than humans. The polar bear can detect a seal from miles away, even beneath 3 feet of ice. Arctic silence, wide silent shot of untouched Arctic snowfields. The Arctic is quiet. So quiet that even a breath feels loud. And in that silence, a ghost white predator roams, unseen, unheard. Polar bears and Inuit stories, animation of Inuit legends. Elders speaking to children by fire for centuries. Indigenous peoples like the Inuit have respected the polar bear, calling it Nanak, the powerful hunter and spirit guardian. It is more than an animal. It is part of their stories, their survival. The final footprints bear leaving footprints on melting ice, fading into distance. Each step could be its last, with ice disappearing faster than ever. The polar bear's path grows thinner, and the question remains, how long will it hold? Will we act in time? Split screen. Polar bear on ice. Humans in cities protesting climate change. This is not just a polar bear story. It's our story too. The climate crisis touches us all. Will we act in time to save this magnificent creature and ourselves? The science behind the ice satellite imagery of Arctic shrinkage. Scientists studying maps, satellites don't lie. The Arctic is losing ice at a record pace. Scientists warn, if we lose sea ice, we lose the polar bear, and much more. A cub's first hunt, young polar bear cub following mother / learning to track prey. A young cub steps into the unknown, its first hunt. Every lesson from its mother is a lesson of survival. The stakes. Life or death. Human footprints on the Arctic, oil rigs, ships, plastic debris on frozen shores. But it's not just warming. Human expansion, oil, shipping, waste, intrudes into the last pure places. The Arctic is no longer untouched. The hidden strength of the Arctic. Microecosystems under sea ice. Time-lapse of plankton blooms. Beneath the ice, life flourishes. Tiny organisms support seals, which support bears. Remove one, the chain collapses. Polar bears in captivity. Polar bears in zoos or conservation centers. Educational exhibits. Some bears live in zoos, not by choice, but by necessity. They become ambassadors for their species. Teaching millions what's at stake. The role of education. Children watching polar bear documentaries. Virtual classrooms. Today's children may be the last generation to see wild polar bears. But with education, they may also be the first to protect them. International efforts. UN climate conferences. Arctic conservation treaties. Nations are joining hands. From the Arctic Council to global treaties, a shared mission is forming. Save the ice. Save the bear. Innovation meets conservation. Drones monitoring bears. AI models predicting ice melt. Technology is stepping in. Drones, AI, and tracking collars now help scientists understand and protect polar bear movements before it. Estelate, a glimpse of the future. Children planting trees, community action, rewilding efforts. The future isn't written yet. Each action we take, local or global, sends ripples into the Arctic. And those ripples might bring the ice back. The final roar, a lone polar bear standing tall on an ice cliff. Fade to white, the polar bear still stands. Proud, resilient, watching. Its roar is not just a cry of survival. It's a call for unity. Will we listen?